Dear delegates, dear colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning, good afternoon or good evening to you all. I am currently in Lausanne in our headquarters with next to me the Executive Director, Matt Smith. It's 12 noon here in Switzerland and same or around 12 in Europe and Africa, but I have a special shout for our friends in Oceania and on Far East Asia who are attending the Congress in the late evening, and those in the Americas where it's very early morning, not to say right in the middle of the night for those who in the Pacific time zone. For the second year in a row, we have had to organize the Congress by video conference remotely, has to adapt to the context and to the travel restrictions. Thankfully, the technology allows proper meetings and even secure voting. We are all very used now to such a virtual environment. Despite the virtual environment, it's my privilege and a great pleasure to welcome you, the delegates of member federations and the delegates from our continental recognized continental confederations and member groupings to our 2021 Ordinary Congress. Let me have a special welcome to all the delegates who are attending the Congress for the very first time. There have been elections in your federations in the last Congress, and with some changes and evolution in your respective boards. I would like to welcome warmly our honorary president, Denis Oswald, who is with us here in Lausanne today. Grand merci à toi, Denis, pour nous faire l'honneur de ta présence à notre congrès. Welcome to the council members. I have a special thought for Vice President Tricia Smith, connecting from Vancouver, and I think it's 4 a.m. Or 3 a.m. at this time. I would like also to welcome Kit McConnell, the IOC Sport Director. Welcome to all the observers, to our guests, and to you all who are following us on YouTube live stream video. It's again a mixed feeling that I open this Congress. On the one hand, it's indeed a great pleasure to speak with you, to be connected with you, dear delegates of member federations, and for me to share this very important and formal milestone in the life of our organization. On the other hand, we are missing the less formal but also important aspect, I mean the social interaction and the opportunity to discuss and share in person. I am sorry, but we will have no coffee break. We will not have the lunch as the opportunities to chat, to share and to strengthen our relations. Instead, we will have to limit us on the formal points on the agenda. What was to be exceptional last year has unfortunately become reality again this year. Let's remain optimistic though, and I look forward to the next opportunity to meet you in person again. But for now, we must adapt, as I just said, and continue to move ahead. And despite these very particular circumstances, I officially declare the 2021 FISA World Rowing Congress open. Before we move ahead in the agenda, I am now passing on the floor to the governance manager, Lucie Trochet, to provide you with some essential technological aspects.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe, and welcome to all participants. I shall start with the simultaneous translation interpretation. Hopefully you will have found this functionality, but if you haven't, and you would like to use this functionality, we have the Congress proceeding in French and English, and you will be able to use the interpretation function by looking at the bottom of your screen on the right-hand side, and you will find the interpretation icon. If you click on this icon, you can then choose English or French. In order to have the best experience, we recommend that you do not use the option to mute original audio. As I say, the Congress will be in French and English, Therefore, unless you're bilingual, I suggest that you use the interpretation functionality from the start of the Congress because we may be switching between the two languages. If you're having any problems with the simultaneous interpretation, please do contact the support lines that are on your screen now and were also included in the email that was sent to you with your login details. In terms of the technical solution we're using, you will mostly all be familiar with this. In order to have an optimal experience, it's best for you to have a cabled connection. Hopefully you've got a cabled connection. And it's also recommended that you use a computer and not a telephone or tablet. Hopefully your computer will also have microphone, camera, and speakers already built in for the best experience. During the Congress, next slide, please. During the Congress, if you would like to raise any questions or make a comment or take the floor, we would ask you to use the Q&A or the raise hand function. You will see these again at the bottom of your screen. With the raise hand option, this option will give you the opportunity to take the floor and have your video switched on. You will have your status changed from attendee to panelist. And it's important to note that when this happens, there will be a 10-second interruption with your connection. It's normal, please don't panic. You'll then be reconnected back to the webinar, and then you just need to wait for the president to ask you to speak, and then you unmute yourself and put your video on. The chat function, you'll see there is the chat function at the bottom of your screen, but we would prefer that you don't use this because we would like all questions and comments to go into the Q&A or through the raise hand function when you take the floor. The chat function is going to be used by the meeting organizers to contact the delegates as needs be. If you're experiencing technical problems during the Congress, such as being disconnected from the webinar, then please just wait a moment because you may well be reconnected automatically. Alternatively, you can switch back to the Lumi voting platform and you can click on the Zoom webinar link at the bottom of the information page. Then you'll be reconnected back to the video conference. As I mentioned, if you're having any problems during the Congress, please use these support lines and we will do our best to find solutions to any issues that you're facing. Thank you. I'll now pass you back to Jean-Christophe.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Everything has been tested and it seems that it's working well so far. As it has been mentioned, we have a simultaneous interpretation in French and in English, the two official languages. I welcome our interpreters, Marie-Odile and Agnès. Let's make a short test to see if it works as expected. I'm going to switch into French. Je rappelle que comme pour le CIO et le monde du sport plus généralement, les langues officielles sont le français et l'anglais. Et même si l'anglais est de nos jours une langue quasi universelle ou la langue universelle sans aucun doute, je sais que certains délégués comprennent mieux le français. Il est très important que la communication ne soit pas un frein à l'expression et à votre contribution. J'encourage vivement les délégués qui ne sont pas forcément anglophones à participer aux discussions du Congrès. Chers délégués, votre contribution est essentielle. Alors même si je vous l'accorde, l'environnement virtuel n'est pas idéal, je vous invite à vous exprimer. En même temps, conscient du temps limité que nous avons, je vous demanderai d'être le plus concis possible dans vos interventions. J'espère que ce test est concluant et je vais maintenant repasser en anglais. Again, if you experience any difficulties, please contact us on the numbers that were provided. As I mentioned earlier, we have a significant number of delegates who are attending our Congress for the first time. Let's take the opportunity to have a short introduction to the Council, but before asking the Executive Director to carry out this exercise, I would like to mention what was actually circulated to the member federation this week. Paola Guizzetti, chair of the Para-Rowing Commission, has recently decided to step down from the position of the chair of the Para-Rowing Commission, and for personal reasons. In line with the statutes and Article 53 related to casual vacancy, the executive committee has appointed Rebecca Orr to this position until the next Congress in 2022. Rebecca has a great experience in the field of para-rowing. She's been a member of the commission since 2015 and is also a classifier and member of the classification advisory panel. We look forward to working with Rebecca in the council, and we wish her best success in the role. I will now pass on to the executive director to present the rest of the council.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Congress. We will make a quick introduction of the World Rowing Council. The speaker you just heard, of course, is President Jean-Christophe Rolland. You heard earlier about our honorary president, Dennis Oswald, who's here with us with a very impressive career in sport and professionally. Really pleased to have him with us today here in the office. I'm looking at him over there. Thank you. Our vice president in Vancouver, Canada right now, Tricia Smith, also incredible curriculum vitae from Canada. Treasurer is Gerrit-Jan Eggenkamp from the Netherlands. You can see some lines on his career. Members of our executive committee from the council include Patrick Rambaud, chair of the Umpiring Commission, Rosie Mayglothing, chair of the Competitive Rowing Commission, Eva Santo, chair of the Events Commission, and since the last Congress, the chair of the Athletes Commission is included, and that's Frida Svensson from Sweden. Continuing with the council, the chair of the Coastal Rowing Commission, Gwen Batten from Great Britain. Chair of the Equipment and Technology Commission, Paul Fuchs in the United States. Events Promotion Commission, Patricia Lambert, Belgium. The Women's Commission and Gender Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Cross Commission, Jacomine Ravensbergen from the Netherlands. The newly created Indoor Rowing Commission, Peter Cookson of Canada. Masters Rowing Commission, Ron Chen, United States. As Jean-Christophe just mentioned, the new chair of the Para-Rowing Commission, Rebecca Orr of Canada. Sports Medicine Commission chair is Dr. Jürgen Steinacker of Germany. Youth Rowing Commission, Algirdas Raslanas, Lithuania. Continental Representative for Africa, Mehdi Garidi of Algeria. Continental Representative for the Americas, Victoria Agregomez Corta from Argentina. Continental Representative for Asia, Fei Ho of Hong Kong. For Europe, Richard Stadniuk from Poland. For Oceania, Lee Spear of New Zealand. Co-opted members are Masakuni Hosobuchi, we call him Buchi of Japan, and Lenkavek Lenke Dienstag-Weg, our co-opted council member from Germany. Oh, and I am the executive director, in case you didn't know. Okay, back to you, Jean-Christophe.
Thank you, Matt. I would like to take the opportunity to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to the council members for their dedication to our sport. It's really great and very much appreciated to work with what I can generally call a team, a great team. Next point, in memory, dear delegates, since our last Congress, we have lost rowing friends. Unfortunately, I have a special thought for our colleague and member of the Equipment and Technology Commission, Thanasis Mitsousis, as well as Mpumi Geza, a young and promising continental development coach in Africa. May I ask you to join me to respect a minute of silence in the memory of all our rowing friends. Thank you. This concludes the point number 1 of the agenda. Moving now to point number 2, identification of the delegates and confirmation of their authority. The executive director will make the roll call with the member federations that have registered 1 or more delegates for the Congress. Each registered delegate has received an email from Lumi with the necessary details to connect and join the Congress. In terms of the actual member federation and delegates connected to the Congress, Lumi has real-time access to who is connected to the system and will provide us with the exact number of member federation and delegates participating and also when it will come to the voting. As you have been informed, to be considered as having attended the Congress, a delegate must have connected with using the Lumi system, using their unique login credentials. If you are attending with others as a group, only the delegate associated with the credentials used for the connection will be listed as a participant and included in the attendance list in the minutes of the Congress. Allow me also to highlight a few additional points. It goes without saying, but I remind the Congress that obviously only 1 delegate per member federation is entitled with the voting rights. You may be up to 3 registered delegates to represent your federation, but only 1 will have access to the voting platform to exercise the voting rights of the federation. Member federations have different voting rights at the Congress. According to our statutes, Article 35, it can be a 3-vote right or a 1-vote right. Referring to bylaw to Article 15 related to depth, the delegates of a member federation having subscription in arrears forfeit its voting rights. So we have therefore member federation participating to the Congress, but with no voting rights. Only the identified delegates with voting rights have access to vote on the Lumi voting platform. And finally, be also aware that the voting will continue even if your connection fails for whatever reason. I will now ask the executive director and Pete from me to present the voting delegates how to proceed for the voting and to carry on a test vote.
Thank you very much. So as you see on your screen, when we do move to a vote, I will be announcing the vote, showing you on the screen the text of the vote. and asking you, the voting delegates, only the voting delegates, to switch to the Lumi voting screen, which you logged in at the start of the meeting. To switch the screens between the Zoom webinar and the Lumi voting platform, you have to minimize the Zoom webinar at the upper right-hand corner of your screen, or using the escape button on the upper left of your keyboard, and then click on the voting platform tab within the Lumi web browser. And you will still be able to hear the meeting. The Lumi platform screen will open, and then I will announce that the vote is open, and we move to voting. The vote will automatically appear when it is opened. Okay, the screen will appear on the screen when it's time to vote, and you will see the options of voting. On the screen, you see here, yes, no, and abstain. Simply click on your desired vote, your desired choice. You will see then a note at the bottom of the screen, vote received, to confirm your vote has been cast. If you wish to change your vote, and I don't advise that because we don't have a lot of time for the voting, you may click on the choice that you would like to change to, and then you will get a new message saying the vote is received. When I close the vote, you may no longer change your vote, of course. When the vote is closed, the screen will then revert to the Lumi normal screen on the upper right there, you see on your screen, and then you can click or return to the Zoom screen and continue with the Congress. So, Pete, are you there? Can you hear me?
I can indeed, Matt, and we are ready to go.
Okay, welcome, Pete.
Thank you so much.
You're sitting in London somewhere. Hope it's a sunny day there. Now, we'll go to test vote number 1, and you see on the screen the text of this important test vote for your testing abilities. What was the location of the 2020 Olympic Games? And you have the choices on the screen. Now, will the voting delegates please reduce the Zoom screen and go to the Lumi screen? And now we will open the vote, please.
Thank you, Matt, and I can confirm that the vote is now open. So as you have explained perfectly, all voting delegates, please minimize Zoom, returning to your web page, and that is the page that you logged into today with your username and password. And there you will now see the vote that is taking place. So please, all voting delegates, please return to the Lumi voting platform page to cast your votes. I can see lots of votes have been cast already, so thank you very much for that.
Okay, we'll close the vote in 5 seconds. Okay, Pete, let's close the vote and back to the president for the result of this important ballot.
Thank you. So the result is Paris 0, Rio de Janeiro 3, Tokyo 83, abstention 6. So Tokyo is the location of the 2020 Olympic Games. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay, so if you've had any difficulties with that, please contact us now on the chat so that we can try to sort out. And I will go back to the Congress presentation. I'll remind you of the ways and means to work on technical problems with our support team. And you see on the screen again, the numbers where you can get help, or use the chat to connect with Pratik. Okay, thank you. Back to you, President.
Actually, back to you now for the roll call. So I'll give you the floor.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now make a roll call of the member federations which have registered for the Congress. And at the end, we'll tell you how many are actually present. So the member federations that have registered are Algeria, Angola, Armenia, Australia, Austria, Azerbaijan, Bahamas, Belgium, Belarus, Bulgaria, Canada, People's Republic of China, Croatia, Cuba, Czech Republic, Denmark, Djibouti, Egypt, Spain, Estonia, Finland, France, Great Britain, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, China, Hungary, Indonesia, India, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Korea, Lesotho, Lithuania, Moldova, Mexico, Mauritius, the Netherlands, Norway, New Zealand, Panama, Poland, Qatar, South Africa, Russia, Senegal, Slovenia, Serbia, Switzerland, Sweden, Tunisia, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, Uganda, Uruguay, United States of America, Uzbekistan, Vietnam, Saint Vincent et les Grenadines, and a late entry from Malta, but having 0 vote rights. We also have, as you see on your screen, these continental rowing confederations and member groupings that have registered for the Congress. From the Americas, PASO, Confederation of Pan America de Remo, Africa, Europe, the Arab Rowing Federation member grouping, and the Commonwealth Rowing Association member grouping. Welcome, everyone. Now, if we were complete, we have 61 member federations. Those with the right to vote that are paid up, no arrears, 56. If all were to vote, 41 have 3 votes, 15 have 1 vote, making a total of 138. And an absolute majority, if in this hypothetical situation, would need to be 70. And that is to say today that 5 of our federations with us will not be having voting rights. Now we'll look to Pete to tell us how many are currently online. Pete, if you can come in and give us that information.
Absolutely, Matt, I can. I can now confirm that in total we have 48 member federations that are registered and logged into the platform successfully. Of that 48, 35 federations have 3 votes, 11 have 1 vote, and there are 2 federations that have 0 votes. So a total number of votes being represented today is 116 so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Dear delegates, you will remember the discussions last year at the External Congress on the evolution of the article related to the eligibility of of Congress delegates to improve women participation. Here is the direct result you have on the screen. Still some room for progress, but clearly, indeed, a very good step, I must say, and congratulations to all of you. We can now move to point number 3 of the agenda. It's about the appointment of scrutineers for the period of a Congress. Same approach as last year. You know, the role of the scrutineers is meant to be the counting of the votes, whether it be by hands or showing cards or by secret ballot for in-person Congress. Since we are using an electronic voting system, you will agree that this role isn't necessary. Let me say again that the voting system is totally secure and independent. All voting will be conducted on an anonymous basis, and we don't have access to the details of the vote. I remind you that LUMI is an independent and well-established and respected known company working for major international groups and companies, including the IOC. Any questions on this point from delegates? It doesn't seem to be the case, so we can now move on the next point of the agenda, approval of the minutes of the last Congress. Actually, we have been provided with the minutes of the 2020 Ordinary Congress and the 2020 Extraordinary Congress. You were asked to send your remark. We have received one from New Zealand. The remark relates to a clarification of the delegate participation list. So this has been included. I'm asking now if there are other remarks or questions to our delegates. No questions. Thank you. So I now pass over to the executive director to conduct the first vote of the Congress.
Thank you, President. As you see on the screen, we are now going to have a vote to approve the minutes that have been distributed, as you've found on our website in the Congress section. The question for the delegates is, do you agree to approve the 2020 Ordinary Congress minutes? So now, voting delegates, you are asked to minimize the Zoom screen and move to the LUMI voting platform. And if I can ask Pete to open the vote and confirm when it's open.
Can confirm that it's open, Matt.
Okay, voting is open. Please vote on the text you see on the screen.
Once again, whilst this is open, just to ensure that you minimize Zoom, return back to your web browser to the LUMI voting platform page where you will now see the vote.
Five more seconds. Okay, we will now close the vote. Thank you. And over to President, and then to save time, Pete, after the President starts to announce, you may share the screen with the results as he speaks.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Pete, to share the screen. So we had, for this vote, 116 total possible votes. There were no abstention, 106 valid vote cast, majority 54, yes, 106, 100%. Thank you. So the minutes of the 2020 Ordinary Congress are approved. Back to you, Matt, for the next vote for the Extraordinary Congress.
So as was suggested, the minutes of the extraordinary Congress were posted on the website, and they look like this. And I'll just ask if there were any comments on the extraordinary Congress to be sure. We see no comments. So we'll move now to the question, which is on your screen. Do you agree to approve the 2020 Extraordinary Congress minutes? And now, voting delegates, please reduce the Zoom screen and move to the Lumi voting platform. At the same time, Pete, please post the screen and let us know.
The vote is now open, Matt.
Okay, you heard the vote is open. We are watching for voting. Five more seconds. Thank you, Pete. You may close the vote. Okay, President, over to you.
Okay, I'm asking now Lumi to present the results on the screen. Total possible votes 116, abstention 0, valid vote cast 106, majority 54. Yes, 106, 100%. Thank you very much. The minutes of the 2020 Extraordinary Congress are approved. Moving to the item 5, 6, and 7 on the agenda. This section is related to the annual reports. Let me just clarify that all these reports refer to the year 2020. It's slightly different for the report of the executive director and my report, who have had some early 2021 references as when these reports were written. So, starting with agenda point 5, the President's report and report from the Executive Committee members. I will start with my report. One second, please. Dear delegates, the report you have in your agenda papers reflects mainly the year 2020 and the very beginning of 2021. I will not make any further remarks about that period, but allow me to take the opportunity today to add a short update on some items that a lot has happened since I wrote the report. As we speak today, the global pandemic is not yet under control, and in many regions of the world, the situation is still a major concern. 2020 was a terrible year, and we were all hoping for a return to normal in 2021. But this has unfortunately not been the case, with the continuous spread of the pandemic and the mutation of the virus. Nevertheless, the tremendous efforts from scientists all around the world have considerably increased the knowledge of both the virus and its behavior. In addition, the widely adopted countermeasures, and most importantly, the vaccines, have jointly lowered the pressure on the healthcare and the health systems in many countries. This has not allowed a full return to normality, certainly not, but at least it has allowed a way to ease the terrible and unsustainable lockdown options. What did that mean for us? Despite the still adverse context, despite the challenges and difficulties, we managed to navigate reasonably well in light of the context. The outcome can today be described as positive. Indeed, except for the 2021 World Championships in Shanghai, which we had initially maintained and rescheduled to late October, but eventually cancelled, and the Master Regatta planned for Linz-Ottensheim, we were able to stage all our 2021 events, and contrary to last year, the international season was saved. Unfortunately, some teams were not able to travel to several events due to the local anti-COVID measures. Allow me to say again that in such a context, this is certainly a great outcome. I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to all the contributors who have made this possible. To the organizing committees of the respective events and the authorities of the countries, local and national, who have continued to support the staging of the competitions. To organize an event is quite complex, but on the top of that, to organize an event during a global pandemic is definitely more complicated. To you, I'd like to thank to you, the member federations who have entered the regattas despite the obstacles like travel restrictions, additional costs. I am conscious of the huge impacts, both direct and indirect, on your organization and your teams, but you made it. Big thanks to our technical team and to the staff for whom it has meant additional workload and complexity, not to mention the uncertainties and the lack of visibility. Thank you to the executive and the council who had the heavy responsibility of taking the go decisions. I have repeated on several occasions my motto, as long as it's not impossible, it is possible. And we have to do whatever possible, of course, reasonably possible, to offer the athletes the opportunities to compete. This has been possible because of a strict application of the COVID-19 protocol. I would like to take the opportunity also to thank the Sports Medicine Commission for their valuable inputs and great work to develop the protocol, which has proved its efficiency. And finally, thank you to all participants, the athletes, the teams, the volunteers, for having respected the COVID countermeasures. I appreciate that it was quite restrictive, sometimes perceived as too restrictive even, but as you know, it was the price to pay. One of our major concerns was to complete the qualification for the Olympic and Paralympic Games. I remind you that only the African Continental Regatta had taken place in 2019. I must say that we can be collectively very proud that ultimately the athletes were given the chance to qualify on the water based on a sport performance. This has not been simple at all, and some teams had quarantines upon return home. Here again, I would like to express my gratitude to all involved from Rio, Tokyo, and Lausanne. Let me say a special thanks to our council colleague, also Buchi Masakuni, to JARA, the Japanese Rowing Federation, to TMG, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and GSA, the Japanese Sport Agency, for their valuable support to stage the Asian and Oceanian qualification regatta on the Sea Forest Waterway Olympic rowing course, as we had lost the initial option in Chungju at the time, without alternative. Talking about the Olympics, let's now move to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games, the first ever postponed games. I will start by echoing IOC President Thomas Bach. We did it. We did it together. These are his words after the closing of the games and on several occasions since. Indeed, you all know the very challenging context. First, I can refer to the huge amount of work and the complexity to move the games by 1 year. But on the top of that, then with the pandemic still active around the world, the massive implication on how to deliver such a big event in a safe environment, both for the participants coming from all over the world, but also for the citizens of Japan. Despite the massive pressure from the media largely conveying a negative voices, which resulted in a quite negative trend in the public opinion about the games, we can simply commend and acknowledge the resilience and commitment from the key decision makers to keep faith and determination, and at the top, the IOC President Thomas Bach and the Japanese Prime Minister Suga. The support first from the World Health Organization and its experts, and also from the sport community, the international federations and the National Olympic Committees, and ultimately from the athletes, cooperating together to make everything possible to stage the games has been pivotal. The risk assessment and mitigation plans resulted in the application of very strict and restrictive countermeasures in the introduction of mass testing to immediately manage the positive cases, as it was clear that there would be positive cases. No spectators on the grandstands. Strict limits on the duration of the athlete stay based on their competition schedule. No access for non-accredited people, no guests, no social events, a strict bubbles concept, and many more restrictions. I have a thought for the large number of people who were excited to attend the games as spectators, but were not authorized to come to Japan, and notably the families of the athletes. The anticipated catastrophe that some had announced did not happen. More than 1 million tests were carried out through the Olympic and Paralympic Games, and 0.03% resulted in positive cases. I should say 0.03% only. This is far from the potential expectation that was up to 2%. As for the Olympics, 67 Olympic Village residents tested positive, 34 officials and 33 athletes, of which 22 had to withdraw from their competition, including 2 rowers. We indeed faced the unwanted but anticipated sensitive situation. One of them was even trickier, quite dramatic, as it happened at the morning of the finals. Certainly not ideal at all. Nevertheless, the organizing committee, the IOC, the authorities, and World Rowing, we were prepared and we managed to deal with these sensitive situations. We can conclude now that the Japanese organizers have delivered a safe and very successful games. For us, at the end, if I consider the 2 main clients of the Olympics and Paralympic rowing regatta, namely the athletes and the rest of the world, the fans, all the people behind the screens, we can consider the Tokyo 2020 Games as fantastic and extremely successful. The feedback from the athletes has been excellent, again, despite the particular conditions linked with the pandemic and the related restrictions. They have expressed their great satisfaction. On the sports side, we had excellent and exciting racing. Congratulations to all the athletes for their performances. I am sure that you all have appreciated the images produced by OBS and the excellent shots. On the organization side, we faced some challenges as for any event organization. We were concerned but prepared for potential difficult weather conditions because of the heat and the wind. We have been served. I can say we have been well served. there were some tough conditions during the Olympics because of both the wind and the heat. It was therefore a difficult exercise for the Fairness Committee, and my gratitude goes to its members who had the responsibility to assess in real time the conditions and to take decisions or to make the necessary recommendations to the Executive Committee where there could be severe implication. It has certainly been a team effort involving many stakeholders. To conclude on this topic, let me once again express a sincere gratitude and thanks to the Japanese host, the TOCOG, the Tokyo Olympic Games Organizing Committee, TMG, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and its Governor Koike, to the IOC, especially to President Bach, and to John Coates. As you know, John chaired the Coordination Commission. He has been pivotal in addressing the many challenges all along the long and not easy preparation journey of the Games. He has always been very supportive in helping to address the challenges, obstacles, and difficulties we had to face from the very beginning. You certainly remember the episode when TMG pushing us to Naganuma, 400 kilometers away from Tokyo. Let me express a huge thanks to all the contributors who have delivered great regattas. All the volunteers at the venue were fantastic. It's been a genuine team effort, and I would like to thank and pay tribute to the rowing team in the organizing committee, led by Natalie Phillips, the competition manager. They really did an excellent job. And finally, thank you to Bucci, Masakuni also Bucci, who has had the crucial role of liaison with the Japanese. The next chapter, and I have to say it is another important one, is about legacy. It's indeed essential that in the future we make the most of this high international standard rowing course and the excellent associated facilities. We have to support and ensure the return on such an investment. Moving now to our Olympic strategy. You have in my report in the agenda the details of our Olympic strategy until the final decision from the IOC Executive Board in December last year, which was to keep the same Olympic rowing program for Paris 2024 as it was in Tokyo 2020, with a reduction of the athletes quota by 24 to 502. I reiterate that in view of the wider context, we can be truly satisfied with such a decision. As for now and the future, let me be clear again. The discussions with the IOC interrupted because of the pandemic context and the postponement of the Games will resume. In fact, I can say that it has already restarted. On our side, we haven't changed our vision, nor had the IOC moved from their position on the weight category. We will continue the discussions based on the program that the Congress approved last year, with 3 coastal events, included a mixed double. The IOC Executive Board shall decide the final event program in December 2024. We will keep you updated throughout the process, as we expect to have clear guidance before then. Let me highlight in that respect the great success of the World Rowing Beach Sprint Finals and the World Rowing Coastal Championships in Oeiras, Portugal. We had exciting racing, great performances, and fantastic shots and images. If we still have to improve, to work on some aspects, it confirms again the immense potential of the discipline. I remind you that for the rowing competition at the 2026 Youth Olympic Games in Dakar, Senegal, we will have the beach sprint format. As for the venue, you know well the context. I have shared with you, the member federations, from the very beginning, the discussion with the organizing committee on a possible alternative to Lake Paris in Long Beach, the 1932 Olympic course, in line with the new norm and the Olympic Agenda 2020 to reduce cost and complexity of the staging and to ensure the best legacy. Marine Stadium would be indeed a spectacular athlete and fun experience. We have been working very hard with Los Angeles 28 on the feasibility and carried out studies to address the challenges. As you know, the maximum possible length for racing is 1,500 meters, and the connection with the ocean generates a tide. We have largely discussed the first aspect on the distance. I won't come back on this today. And as for the tide, the outcomes of the last study regarding the impact of the fairness between the lines are very positive. I am pleased to inform the Congress that the Council has finalized its analysis and has concluded to accept the proposal from LA 28. The Los Angeles 28 Organizing Committee will now continue to work with the City of Long Beach and the relevant stakeholders on formal application and approval. The ball is now in their court. Still on the Olympic Games, but the 2032 edition, let me also mention that we have been contributing with the Brisbane Bidding Committee on the possible options for rowing. We will continue to work with the Organizing Committee now, as they have been officially awarded with the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games by the IOC session. Few points on the Olympic movement. Reaching the finalization of the Olympic 2020 agenda, the IOC has pursued its strategy moving to Agenda 2020+5, which was adopted by the IOC session in March. The 15 recommendations aim at continuing to adapt to the fast-moving, the fast-changing environment and address the key challenges of the Olympic movement. They relate to solidarity, digitalization, sustainable development, credibility, and economic and finance resilience. As I have mentioned to you on several occasions and reports, the IOC's challenges are our challenges, and we will continue to contribute. More broadly, the sport and sport organizations have to play their role and to take part in the challenges of the society. I would like to highlight the work that we have been doing in safeguarding and the fight against harassment and abuse in sport. We have progressed in this very important matter. I understand that we cannot all be at the same level, but it's important, and we expect and we encourage that our member federation take on board such an important topic. Another key challenge for society is the climate change and its many impacts. Here as well, the role of sport and sport organizations have also to take their part in addressing these challenges. The world will ultimately succeed in this fight if and only if everybody contributes. One of the recommendations relates to the virtual sport. I am pleased to say that in that domain, we are quite in front line. With the indoor rowing machine combined with the technology, the potential is simply immense. We have some experience already, having delivered a successful virtual 2021 World Rowing Indoor Championships. Rowing was one of the 5 sports to be part of the first ever Olympic virtual series. This is the first step. We know that there is much room for improvement. We have some ideas, but again, the high potential of the concept of connecting people is a tremendous opportunity for our discipline and for our sport. Developing our new disciplines is clearly our strategy to grow our sport in all its dimensions and enlarge the community of rowers in the world and the people connected to us, especially in a very competitive world of sport with a very large offering in terms of events. Let me mention on this particular point that we fully support the IOC and many sport federations and organizations in expressing concerns in FIFA's intention to stage a biennial World Cup. In this very busy sports calendar, such a major event would attract and concentrate even more resources to football and to the detriment of the other sports. I met last month with the IOC President Thomas Barr, with the Director General Christophe de Keper, and the IOC Sport Director Kit McConnell. We covered and discussed many of the points I've just mentioned to you. Let me share with you an interesting proposal that we will certainly progress is the use of the Olympic brand in the qualification process to the Olympic Games. So it will certainly benefit of our sport and its promotion. Finance, moving from the Olympic movement to the finance. I will not anticipate the report of the Treasurer on the situation on our accounts and the perspective for the future, but want to simply and briefly add to what I wrote at the time in my report about our financial situation. The completion and success of the Games have resulted in securing the Olympic revenues. This is really great news. The final amount is not yet finalized, but this major uncertainty has disappeared. This is a significant element, and the Treasurer will come back to this, to the details. In terms of governance, I have reported the success of the 2020 Exonic Congress and the key evolution in the statutes and rules that you, the member federations, have adopted last year. As we are in a continuous improvement mode, I expect the next quadrennial Congress, as it is named now, to consider changes and evolution for the future. This exercise will never end, and to ensure that we will be well prepared and that we can catch all aspects by then, we have relaunched the governance working group and the rule working groups. As we did in the past, we will be sharing with you, the member federation, the discussions and the proposal all along this journey so that you can take part of this exercise. Regarding the new commissions, the Coastal Rowing Commission, the Indoor Rowing Commission, and the newly formed Gender Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Cross Commission, I am pleased to report that the Council has now approved their proposed strategies and duty statements, which were circulated on the 6th of October with the circular. We have added a GDI advisory panel, which will be experts in the fields, in these fields, who can be called upon for specific advice and will soon call for nominations for this. We can now move to the proper election today of the chairs of these three commissions and then the appointment of the members of the commissions by the Council. Let me briefly report that we have completed our recruitment process for the position of the Executive Director. You will recall that at the Congress last year, we announced Matt Smith's decision to step down from the position in the near future. It's been a long, but I believe fair and appropriate process. I will not go into the details, but I'd like to take the opportunity to express my personal gratitude to my fellow members of the so-called search committee, which was responsible for running the process. Thank you to our Vice President, Tricia Smith, and Executive Committee member, Gerrit-Jan Egenkamp. It has been quite demanding, but was a very interesting exercise. We will come back later in the Congress today on this particular subject, but based on the analysis of the search committee, the executive committee has rendered its decision to appoint Vincent Gaillard to start this role on the 1st Jan 2022. Vincent is with us today as an observer, but as I said, we will come back to this later. This actually concludes the additional updates I wanted to make today. To a certain extent, it concludes also the mandate that you have given me in Sarasota in 2017. It's been a very challenging period of time, certainly not an easy journey, but at the same time, I have enjoyed the mission and for sure the team work with Matt, with the executive committee, with the council and all stakeholders. I believe that some achievements and progress in the development of our sport have been reached in line with the vision we shared for the future of our sport, while at the same time adapting to the fast-moving environment. As we will soon enter the post-COVID era, this will certainly not be a return to what it was before. Let's take the best of the lessons learned and look forward to a great future for our sport. Thank you. This concludes my additional report. Before we move to open for the question, I would like now to pass the floor. We have the great privilege to have with us the IOC Sport Director, Kit McConnell. So thank you very much, Kit, for accepting to join us and addressing the Congress today. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jean-Christophe, for the opportunity to join you and the World Rowing family. Thank you, Jean-Christophe, also for your great leadership of World Rowing and also the great contribution you make in so many areas of the Olympic movement. And let me also acknowledge the Honorary President, Denny Oswald, the Vice President, Tricia Smith, the athlete representatives, and the whole rowing family. As you may be able to hear in the background here, I'm just in Geneva at my daughter's annual sports day. So I apologize if there's any noise coming through, but at least I can reassure you I'm in a sporting environment joining your Congress today. As you noted, Jean-Christophe, it's only 3 months since Tokyo 2020 happened, and it gives us the opportunity to look back on a unique and ultimately very successful games. It was not an easy preparation in the build up to these games. And I think, Jean-Christophe, you highlighted a number of those challenges. The changes that were necessary, not only to the timing of the games, but all of the international federation calendars, the adaptations to all of the events along the way, the uncertainties with international travel, quarantine requirements in different countries, and of course the need to build experience in delivering safe and successful events in each of the sports, and including rowing in the build up to Tokyo. And we would like to join you in thanking the hosts of each of those events on the pathway towards Tokyo. These were the games that were built on the experience and the dedication of everyone involved, including Tokyo 2020, the Japanese authorities and the international federations. And here, World Rowing was really one of the leaders, developing your protocols for delivering safe events, building the experience within your team, and also building the experience within the athletes. And you showed a huge ability to deliver safe events prior to Tokyo 2020. And here, these games were ultimately hugely successful, as you noted in your report, Jean-Christophe. Not only successful, but safe. We had gender-balanced rowing program for the first time in history. We had new NOCs competing in Tokyo, and despite the weather challenges which rowing sometimes faces, and certainly did in Tokyo, we had the great feedback ultimately from the rowers themselves and the national teams. But we know this doesn't happen by itself. And I'd like to join you, Jean-Christophe, in thanking Tokyo 2020, all of the Japanese authorities involved, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, the national government, of course, our friends in the Japanese Rowing Association, Bucci and his colleagues, Natalie Phillips and her team on the ground who had such dedication, including for the additional year that they were in that position. And of course, Matt, you and the whole World Rowing team for the dedication shown. And as you quoted Jean-Christophe, and our president has said, we did it, and we did it together. And that's something we can all be incredibly proud of as we look back. Also, we can look forward with excitement. And here we've got games coming up in 3 incredible rowing countries, in France with Paris in less than 3 years from now, USA with Los Angeles in just 7 years' time, and of course, Australia now confirmed with Brisbane in 2032. Throughout this time, I know that World Rowing will continue to build on the incredibly strong traditions and strengths you have as one of the core traditional sports of the Olympic Games, but also take an innovative approach and an open mind to the possibilities that exist, including, as you said, Jean-Christophe, in the innovative venues that continue to present themselves as opportunities. Also, with the formats and disciplines within the sport, building again on a core of great success with the traditional forms, but looking at coastal rowing, at indoor rowing, and other options to take rowing to new places and to engage with new communities of athletes and supporters around the world. In this regard, I'd also like to thank you for the inclusion of e-rowing in the first ever Olympic virtual series this year. This really underlined the innovations in this area and again, reaching out to new communities around the world. Also, the central place that sustainability and environmental considerations have in your strategies, including the Clean Water Partnership with the WWF, and of course, at every step of the way, having a very active athlete representation and engagement in all key discussions and all decisions. So again, thank you, Jean-Christophe. I'm looking forward to continuing the great partnership beyond today, and also like to take a minute to thank you, Matt, and give you a very special thanks. You've had an incredible period as Executive Director of FISA and now World Rowing. Thank you for the great partnership, and I think every step of the way, Matt, you've shown that everything you focus on is about rowing and the sport and about the rowers, and that's at the heart of everything you do. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch with you as you go into the next and potentially more relaxed phase of your life. So again, thank you for the opportunity to join you today, Jean-Christophe, and the whole rowing family. I know you've got a very busy agenda today, so I really appreciate the opportunity to join you and say a few words, and again, reiterate the incredible partnership we share between the IFC and World Rowing under the leadership of you and your team. So thank you for the opportunity, Jean-Christophe, and I wish you a great Congress today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kit, for your words and for taking off your family time to join us today. This is very much appreciated. Before you leave, I will just ask if we have questions among our delegates. This is not the case. So thank you, Kit, and all the best to your daughter for this sport event. We can now move to back on the agenda. So we can move to the next report. There are actually no specific or additional comments on the report from the Vice President Tricia Smith, the Treasurer Gary Camp, and the Executive Director Matt Smith. We haven't received any comment or remarks. Do we have any questions or comments? This is not the case. So unless you think differently, I suggest that for efficiency and we can proceed with one vote only for the 4 reports. Okay, I think it's not. No one has made a remark, so I pass on to the Executive Director to proceed with the votes.
Okay, thank you. You can see the text on the screen that we are looking now for your approval of the reports of the President, Vice President, Treasurer, and Executive Director. Please, if you're a voting delegate, reduce your Zoom screen, go to the Lumi screen, and now Pete, please open the voting on this question.
Thank you, Matt, and I can confirm that the vote is now open for all voting delegates.
Five more seconds. Okay, thank you, Pete. Please close the vote, and we will look for the result next, President.
Thank you. I'm asking Lumi to present the result on the screen. Total possible votes 116, valid vote cast 101, majority 51. Yes, 101, 100%. Thank you very much. The reports of the president, the vice president, and the treasurer and the executive director have been approved. We are now moving to item 6 of the agenda, report of the chair of the commissions. So for efficiency, I'm not going to enumerate all the commissions one by one. None of the chairs of the commissions have any additional comment or remark to make. I will now open the floor for any questions, and please anticipate your comments so that we can save a little bit of time. It's not the case, so I can now ask the executive director to proceed with the voting. Same approach, one vote for all the reports.
Thank you. You see the screen, the approval of the reports of the chairs of the specialist commissions, all in one vote. Voting delegates, please reduce the Zoom screen to the Lumi screen, and Pete, please open the voting.
Thank you, Matt. I can confirm that the vote is now open.
Five more seconds, please complete your voting. Thank you, Pete. Please now close the vote and President to the result.
Thank you. I'm asking Lumi to present the results on the screen. Total possible votes 116, abstention 0, valid vote cast 105, majority 53. Yes, 105, 100%. Thank you. The reports of the specialist commissions commission chairs are approved. Moving now to point 7 of the agenda, reports of the continental representatives and co-opted. You have the report in your files. The continental representatives and co-opted members of the council don't have any points to add or remarks, and we don't have any on the screen, so we can now proceed with the approval of these reports. Matt.
Thank you. You can see the question on the screen to approve the reports of the continental representatives and the co-opted council members for 2020. Voting delegates, now please reduce your Zoom screen to the Lumi voting platform, and Pete, please open the vote.
Thank you once again, Matt, and the vote is now open.
Five more seconds. You are very efficient delegates. Thank you. 5, 4, 3. Okay, Pete, please close the vote. President, over to you for the result.
I'm asking Lumi to present the results on the screens. Total possible votes 106, abstention 3, valid vote cast 102. Majority 52, yes 102, 100%. Thank you very much. All these reports are approved. We come now to agenda point 8 to 13 related to finance. We have a finance section now. I'm going to pass the floor to the treasurer, Gary Chanigan-Pam, to present first the 2020 financial report and statements. Gary Chan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe. I think on the 2020 financial report, as Jean-Christophe said, that was a very uncertain year, with 2/3 of our income coming out of the Olympic Games and the uncertainty around whether Tokyo would take place. This would heavily impact World Rowing's financial federation if that would not be the case. So therefore, in 2020, we cut costs where possibly, quite significantly, and applied for Swiss COVID support measures, with the staff working at 50% of the time from April to September. And that resulted in a 1.3 million better operational result than we budgeted. And in an overall 1,996,000 that you see at the bottom right of this screen, better result overall. And that very much was with in mind, we need to create headroom in case the Tokyo Olympics would not take place and we would have significantly less revenue coming out of that. Next to the profit and loss statement that you see here, if you look at the balance sheet with the uncertainty, we have been focused in 2020 really on creating as much cash headroom as possible, so that we would have at least cash available to transition to a new world if we would not get the Tokyo revenue. So our balance sheet actually expanded quite a bit as we were able, thanks to both the IOC and the Swiss Confederation, to secure 3 million of loans in case things would further worsen. So that has been an increase, a significant increase in the balance sheet. Fortunately, now the Olympic Games have taken place. We do not need that, and so we will pay those loans back as we will have the income from Tokyo. So I think that's on the 2020 financial report. And I think before going to the other agenda points, Jean-Christophe, is there first a vote on this, or do we do them all in total? We move on?
No. We will move with the approval in a minute, but before we will move to the item 9, which is the auditor's report. You have the report in your files from page 82, and you can see their opinion regarding the statement. So now, indeed, we will move with the approval of the accounts, item 10, and over to the executive director to proceed with the vote.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe. Thank you, Gerrit-Jan. Just a note that I think the staff worked 150%, but not 50% during that period. So now the question for you is the approval of the 2020 financial statements. Voting delegates, please switch out of Zoom to the Lumi platform. And Pete, please open for the vote on the 2020 financials.
Matt, I can confirm that the vote is now open.
Five more seconds for voting. Okay, please close the vote, and over President for the results.
Thank you. I'm asking Lumi to present the results on the screen. Total possible votes 116, abstention 0, valid vote cast 104, majority 53. Yes, 104, 100%. Thank you very much. The 2020 accounts are approved. So we can now move to item 11, determination of entrance fee and annual subscription. After consideration with the treasurer, the council proposed to stay with the current level of fees and annual subscription. As there is no change proposed, I believe that we don't need any votes. So still no question on the chat. I'm looking at, okay, there is no question. So we can now move to item 12, budget for the following year, 2022. You have on the page 89, the 2021 to 2024 four-year financial plan, including the 2022 budget. Before I leave the floor to the treasurer for the explanation, just to say that it was developed before the sending of the agenda papers. At the time, there were still some uncertainties around the income, so an updated version of the 2022 budget was circulated on October 6th. As meanwhile we got the additional information. I pass the floor to you, Gerrit-Jan, for an explanation on the budget 2022.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe. So indeed, the original 4-year plan that was approved at the Congress last year, at a time when we did not know whether the Tokyo Olympic Games would be held, that 4-year budget had a significantly trimmed down cost base in anticipation of all the uncertainty that was there. So while over the 2016 to 2020 Olympic cycle, our expenses were around 7.5 million, you'll see here that that initial 4-year plan, the expenses were brought down to a level below 6 million, given all the uncertainty, whereby we were hoping that with Tokyo taking place, actually we would be able to later on then increase the cost base, but only if that would be the case. Now, fortunately, Tokyo did take place, and with that, we know roughly what kind of revenue will come out of that. And in addition, we also have more certainty on other revenue streams for next year. So I think also worthwhile mentioning is that in the 2021 budget, we have only included revenue that is that we're certain of. So with that knowledge, we have felt comfortable to actually increase the cost base to a 6.6 million level. And the main changes there have been in events and marketing. Partly this is explained through re-invoicing. So you'll see that the second line also on the income side, there's a higher number, but on the revenue, on the cost side, that also increases substantially. And this is as this televising and showing our sport attractively is quite important. So that's why you see increase here. And I think the other main increase that you see is in the administration costs. The level that you see here is again in line with what we had in 2017 to 2019. And I think what should be noted here is that the administrative burden on World Rowing keeps increasing every year. If you look at the requirements from all the stakeholder groups around us, they go up and they bring additional work and costs, whether it's anti-doping work that needs to be done versus several other governance-related items where just the increase that increase the amount of work. So what you actually see here is that with the same cost base as we had in 2017 to 2019, Matt and the team have actually been doing significantly more tasks and have been able to accommodate that. I think with that, that's I think the main items to highlight in the proposed budget for 2022.
Thank you, Gerrit-Jan. Any questions? There are no questions, so we can now proceed with the vote, and I'm asking the Executive Director to proceed.
Thank you. As you can see, the question on the screen is the approval of the budget for the year 2022. Voting delegates, please switch out of Zoom to the Lumi platform, and Pete, please open the voting on this question. Thank you.
I can confirm the vote is now open.
Five more seconds. Okay, Pete, please close the vote, and over to you, President, for the result.
Thank you. I'm asking Lumi to present the result on the screen. Total possible votes 116, abstentions 3, valid vote cast 105, majority 53. Yes, 105, 100%. Thank you very much. The 2022 budget is approved. Moving now to item 13, Article 33, paragraph 2 says that the auditors are appointed each year by the Congress based on a recommendation from the Executive Committee. The Executive Committee has decided to recommend PricewaterhouseCoopers Switzerland. Is there any questions? No questions. So over to the Executive Director to proceed with the vote, please.
Jean-Christophe, can I make one additional remark here?
Yes, go ahead, Gerrit-Jan.
Yeah, I think it's also good to note that this year the internal audit committee was appointed. And I'm very glad that Hans-Jürgen Arwezen from Norway and Jermaine Bauer from Switzerland have been willing to join that committee. This is also the committee that will work with the auditor as part of its activities. We've met 3 times earlier this year to start the work and will be officially functioning and reporting over the next year, also on next year's Congress.
Thank you very much, Gerrit-Jan, for this explanation indeed. So now we can move to and proceed with the vote.
So thank you. The question is on the screen, the approval of the Executive Committee's recommendation to appoint PricewaterhouseCoopers as the external auditors of the 2021 accounts. Voting delegates, please switch out of Zoom to Lumi, and Pete, please open the vote on this question.
The vote is now open.
Five more seconds. Thank you. We will now close the vote, and back to you, President.
Thank you. I'm asking Lumi to present the result on the screen. So total possible votes 116, 1 abstention, valid votes cast 110, majority 56, yes 110, 100%. Thank you very much. Okay, this actually concludes the finance section, and I'd like to again express our thanks and gratitude to the Treasurer and to the Executive Director for their work on this domain. So moving now to the item 14, and I'm passing the floor to the Executive Director to cover the point. Matt.
Thank you very much. We have a full season ahead of us in 2022. All of the organizing committees have posted their bulletins on the event pages of our website and on their own websites. So you will find a lot of information depending on the event you're looking for through the website. And I want to highlight we are in the qualification period for the World Rowing Indoor Championships, which will end in Hamburg, Germany on the 25th and 26th of February, which will be a hybrid event with virtual participation and physical participation, the physical one based in Hamburg. We do have one special presentation today, which is a video from the World Championships of 2022, which will take place in Račice, as you know, north of Prague in the Czech Republic. And I'd like to now ask that we show the video that we've received from the organizing committee of Račice.
Hello everybody. In the following couple of minutes, allow me to guide you through our presentation. For those who have never been to Račice, this aerial view provides a unique view of our regatta venue. This and following slide show the Czech Republic as a country situated in the heart of Europe, easily accessible from the whole world, with a long and rich history and a successful present, a country with over 10 UNESCO heritage sites and stunning countryside. There is no need to present Prague, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. The Alp lowland is not only one of the most fertile areas of the Czech Republic, but also a place populated several thousand years ago. I don't think this slide needs any commentary. It is our vision of the championships. We, as a host organizer, are proud to offer our extensive and proven experience with organizing international sport events at the highest international level. The Račice Regatta course is among the best venues in the world, mainly due to its fair racing conditions together with sufficient facilities for athletes and visitors. All para-rowing teams are more than welcome, and it is our highest priority to prepare for them the championships as best as we can. Last year we learned about what it's like to organize championships without spectators or the World Rowing family, and honestly, we miss them a lot. For the coming championships, we want to welcome them all in a very friendly atmosphere, as well as offering excellent services for their satisfaction. Many thanks for your attention, and we look forward to seeing you in Račice 2022.
Thank you very much for that report from the organizing committee and the Czech Rowing Association. And on the website, you can find this presentation and the bulletin to prepare for the event. I do need to announce that we will stick with our decision-making approach with a roadmap before each event this season. This is the approach taken in 2021 to help minimize potential financial implications for teams, organizing committees, our service providers, and for World Rowing. So with 3 months to go before World Rowing events, we will publish a bit later the exact dates. We will be assessing if COVID is indeed coming back and we have to take special actions. We will be doing that in a 3 month to go time frame. So you'll see this in the circular, you'll see this coming forward. We just want to bring this to your attention that we will stay vigilant and careful with any possible situation that can come up next, hoping not, but we want to put that to your attention. Thank you. That is what we would choose to say in this virtual Congress about future events. Back to you, President.
Thank you very much, Matt. Now we are on item 15, place and date of the next Congress. We all hope that we will be back to a normal context in 2022, and the Council proposed that the 2022 World Rowing Ordinary Congress take place on Monday, 26 September 2022 in Račice, Czech Republic, the day immediately after the closing of the 2022 World Championships. Is there any question? It's not the case, so I consider that the proposal is approved. Moving now to item 16, there are no World Rowing Championships to be attributed at this Congress. So moving quickly to point number, or maybe Matt, you would like to add, excuse me, Matt, please.
Thank you, President. We are pleased to announce that the next strategic event attribution process is now being launched. On the screen, you can see the events that are included in this process. For these events, we will be making these decisions at the Congress following the World Championships in Račice on the 26th of September 2022. Of course, some of these decisions are the Council, and the key decision, the World Rowing Championships, are with the Congress. So we will be announcing this in writing soon in the circular, and you can see now on the screen the time frame, the roadmap to enter into the strategic attribution process. 21st of January will be when the bid documents are released to those who have expressed interest in possibly bidding. Then the preliminary deadline for the deadline for preliminary bids, as you can see, in the middle of April, leading to final bids by the beginning of July. And as I said, decisions and announcements and attributions on the 26th of September. I'll just flip back again, and this will be published in the circular, so you don't have to write this down. These are the events that will be on bid for next year. Okay, thank you. We'll now move back to the president.
Thank you very much. Item number 17 relates to the reports of Continental Rowing Confederation and other member groupings. So thank you to Khaled Eldin for FADA, to the President Fernando Ucha for Copare, to Richard Stadniuk for President of ERC, and to Lee Spear, President of Orcon, for their reports. Thank you to Khaled Eldin, President of the Arab Association, to Svatko Golabski, President of the Balkan Rowing Association, to Peter Coxon, President of the Commonwealth Rowing Association, and to Gary Harris, President of La Coupe de la Jeunesse, and to Raul Poletti, President of the South American Rowing Confederation, for their reports. You have all of them in your files. I will move now to point number 18, related to application for affiliation. There is no request, so we continue with a total number of 156 affiliated member federations. Item A19, no request for reconsideration or confirmation of decision were received by the due date. So we are now moving to the item point 20. And as you know, we have few elections this year in the council and in the executive committee. Article 39 relates to the council. The Congress shall elect this year the president, the vice president, and the treasurer. It will be for a 4-year mandate as usual. In addition, and to align with the evolution adopted last year, the 2020 Extraordinary Congress, we will also proceed with the elections of the chairs of the coastal rowing and indoor rowing commissions, two newly created commission, as well as the Gender Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Commission, replacing the Women's Commission. Please note that for this position, the last 3 positions, the mandate will be until the end of 2023. Then we will move, after these elections, we will move to, with Article 49, to elect also the 3 council members to the executive committee. But let's start first with the election on the council according to the Article 39. You have received in the agenda papers the documents related regarding the candidates for these positions. For each of the election, we will proceed as follows. A short video presentation of the candidate will be made by his or her member federation. You will then have the opportunity, you, the delegates, to make comments or to ask questions, and we will move then to an electronic vote. May I suggest, as a matter of efficiency, if you want to have to make a comment, to raise it quite early so that we can move rapidly between this election. For clarity, the candidate must receive an absolute majority as per Article 36 of the statutes. That is to say, more than 50% of the valid vote cast. I remind you that the abstentions are not considered as valid vote cast. Finally, my last point before we move, as for the election of the president, I will hand over to the vice president, Tricia Smith, to chair the Congress. If there is no question, thank you very much. And it's my privilege now to hand over to our vice president, Tricia Smith, to chair the Congress and run the election of the president. Thank you, Tricia. I know it's very early, but the floor is yours.
Thank you, President. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We have received one submission from the French Rowing Federation for the position of president. May I please ask for the presentation of the candidate?
Afternoon, morning. It's with great pleasure as president of French Rowing to present Jean-Christophe Rolland, candidate for his re-election for the position of president of World Rowing. Jean-Christophe, apart from being an incredible colleague and friend, has always represented the French values and zone of French rowing in all the fields he explored. First of all, with a remarkable rowing career crowned by an Olympic champion title in 2000, but also professionally. Starting with an engineering position for the London Olympic Games, followed by his election as president of World Rowing, and finally, more recently, with his election at the EOC. He has always shown his leadership, his resilience, his capacity to handle crises, but also to support World Rowing in its future transition, making him an excellent candidate for his re-election. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the delegates? I don't see any. Matt, do you see any questions?
No, Tricia, thank you. I think we can move to the vote if you agree.
Yes, I'll now pass the chair back to, or the microphone back to you, Matt, to proceed with the vote.
So we now move to the vote for the election of president of World Rowing. The question is on the screen. The candidate is Jean-Christophe Rolland. Please, voting delegates, switch out of Zoom to Lumi, and Pete, please open the voting.
Thank you, Matt. I can confirm that the vote is now open.
Five more seconds, please. You may now close the vote. And Tricia, Pete, can you put the results on the screen? And Tricia, can you announce the results when they come on the screen?
Thank you. Total possible votes 116, abstention 0, valid votes cast 105, majority 53, yes 105, 100%. Congratulations, President Rolland. And now hand the chair back to President Rolland.
Thank you, Tricia. Thank you, all the delegates. Thank you very much for your trust. From the bottom of my heart, I can tell you that I'm truly honored. I would not say that it was not expected, but at that level, certainly. And but believe me, I do feel a genuine and deep emotion at this moment. As you know, serving the sport, serving our sport, it's my only and unique ambition in applying for this role. I do know the responsibility of the mission, especially in these quite challenging times. I can assure you that my line of conduct will not change. The strict respect of the best values of the Olympism and sport, and especially the values we have in rowing. I'm not going to give you another speech now. I'm proposed to proceed with the next election.
President, we have a hand in the room from the honorary president who would like to say something.
So the Honorary President, the floor is yours.
I think I switch everything. Is it go? Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, as I'm in the room, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Jean-Christophe on his re-election. Having had this position myself for so many years, I can appreciate, and I'm probably one of the best placed person to appreciate the quality and the quantity of work Jean-Christophe is doing for our sport. And you heard the comment of Kit McConnell as well, really outside of rowing as well. His work is very much appreciated. And there has been so many new challenges in the last few years, not just the COVID, but many things which were not an issue, not a challenge, not a problem years ago, that I can just say that rowing and FISA can be very proud and very happy to have such a leader under these circumstances. And this very brilliant re-election, I'm sure, represent the confidence and the gratitude of our member federation for your work, Jean-Christophe. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much, Denis. I really appreciate these very kind words. And yes, I've just said you can all count on my motivation and dedication to serve our sport. So now I think we can proceed with the next election, which is the election of the Vice President. We have received one application from Rowing Canada, Tricia Smith. We will now have the presentation from the Canadian Federation.
It is my pleasure, on behalf of Rowing Canada Aviron, to present to you Tricia Smith, candidate for the role of Vice President of World Rowing. Simply put, the sport of rowing and the values of rowing are in her heart. After a successful career as an athlete, 7-time World Championship medalist, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and Olympic silver medalist, Tricia was invited to join FISA, where she started as a member of the Women's Commission. Soon after that point, she was elected as chair of the committee. Always an advocate for respect, integrity, and inclusion, as chair of the Women's Commission, she initiated changing the structure of this important committee so that the members of the Women's Commission came from all commissions of FISA, thereby integrating work towards equity throughout the organization. Tricia, in this role, commissioned a study of the history of women in rowing, one of the first such documentations, and invaluable for establishing the basis upon which to move forward. She became a member of the FISA Executive Committee and 8 years ago was elected as Vice President of FISA. With her legal background, she has always provided expertise to World Rowing on governance and other legal matters. She sits on the International Council of Arbitration for Sport and there brings the perspective of the athlete, of the IFs, and in particular, of course, rowing. Tricia plays many roles in the rowing world. She's president of the National Olympic Committee of Canada and an IOC member, bringing these perspectives to world rowing and vice versa. She has provided great support to our president, Jean-Christophe Rolland, over the last 8 years. It seems the minds of the president, an engineer, and the vice president, a lawyer, and both athletes work very well together for the benefit of world rowing. It bodes well for our World Rowing Organization to move forward with Tricia Smith as our vice president. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carol. So I'm just checking if we have questions. It's not the case, so we can proceed with the voting. Over to the Executive Director.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol, as well. The question before you is the election of the Vice President of World Rowing. The candidate is Tricia Smith of Canada. Voting delegates, please now switch out of Zoom. And Pete, please open the vote.
Thank you, Matt. I can confirm the vote is now open.
Five more seconds. Okay, please close the vote. And President, over to you. Pete, please share the screen.
Thank you very much. So you have the result on the screen. Total possible votes, 116, abstention 0, valid vote cast 108, majority 55, yes 108, 100%. Tricia Smith is elected Vice President. Congratulations, Tricia. And if you want to say a few words, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President, and thank you, Carol, for your presentation. And thank you, everyone, for your support. I'm truly honored to be given this opportunity to, again, work alongside our President, Jean-Christophe, and the Executive Committee and the Council, and also you. And, you know, it's often said that the true test of an organization is how they respond to a crisis. And, you know, I've always been proud of World Rowing, but I can say I've been especially proud to be part of World Rowing during the COVID crisis in the past 20 months with the leadership that World Rowing has shown. And thank you, JC, thank you, Matt, and all of World Rowing. And can I just take this opportunity to thank Matt Smith, as this will be his final Congress as Executive Director. And thank you, Matt. It's been such a pleasure working with you. You are a key part of why we can all be so proud of FISA, of World Rowing, always ensuring World Rowing is about the athletes and about sport. So thank you, Matt, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Tricia. And again, congratulations. Very happy to continue to work with you as Vice President. We are now moving to the election of the Treasurer. We have received one submission from the Dutch Federation. But Matt, you would like to make a clarification here regarding the documents in the agenda papers?
I have to ask for your excuse because the paper that was submitted in the agenda papers did not include the signature of the president. And now we actually did have them on time. And you can see the signature on the bottom of the right screen here. So all was done in accordance with the rules. Back to you.
Thank you very much for this clarification. And we will now have the presentation. Please, the video.
Dear rowing friends, dear delegates, it is here I'm standing at the water where Gerrit-Jan Eggenkamp, our current treasurer, learned how to row, and it is from this place that I would like to renominate him for election as World Rowing's treasurer. Gerrit-Jan did an excellent job over the last couple of years during COVID with the postponed Olympics, saving World Rowing from financial mishap. He, as a former athlete, understands rowing like no one else. He's an excellent professional in his own right within his private equity company. He has great financial skills and strategic skills. So he's a fantastic, we think, nominee for this position. Yet again, Gerrit-Jan, we would like you to, we'd like to nominate you as the treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm checking, but there is no question, so we can proceed with the vote. Matt, please.
Thank you. The question before you is the election of the Treasurer of World Rowing. The candidate is Gerrit-Jan Eggenkamp of the Netherlands. Voting delegates, now please switch out of Zoom to Lumi. And Pete, you may open this vote, please.
Thank you, Matt. And the vote is now open.
Five seconds to go. Thank you. Please close the vote, and may we have the result on the screen. Back to you, President.
Thank you very much. Total possible votes 116, abstention 0, valid vote cast 108, majority 55, yes 108, 100%, same result like in Plovdiv. So Gerrit-Jan, congratulations, you have been elected, re-elected as treasurer.
Thank you, everyone, for your confidence. I also very much look forward to continue to work together with everyone in World Rowing to further develop our sport. And like Tricia, thank you, Matt, for working together over these past years. We would not be here where we are today without you. Thanks.
Thank you, Gerrit-Jan. Congratulations again. We're moving now to the next election in the council related to the chair of the Coastal Rowing Commission. We have received one submission from the GBR Federation, and we will have now the presentation.
Thank you for the opportunity to tell you why I think Gwyn Batten would make an excellent chair of the new Coastal Rowing Commission. Many of you will know that she has been chair of the Rowing for All Commission, where I hope you'll agree that she did an excellent job. Her skills as a chair are clear, as you might expect, of someone who professionally has worked in sports administration and development for some of our leading agencies in Britain, including Sport England, the British Olympic Association, UK Sport, and the Youth Sport Trust. I hope too that you will all be comfortable with how well Gwyn understands our sport, having been involved as an athlete, a coach, an umpire and an administrator. Olympic silver medalist, she's gone on to give back to our sport in so many ways. She's been on British Rowing's board, the British Olympic Association executive. She's currently an umpire of Henley Royal Regatta and on its management committee as a steward. Pour toutes ces raisons, je suis ravi de soutenir sa candidature. Mais il y en a d'autres, des raisons supplémentaires très spécifiques à l'aviron de mer, pour lesquelles ce serait à mon avis un très bon choix à faire. Gwyn ne comprend pas seulement l'aviron, elle comprend aussi la mer. I mentioned her Olympic medal in classic rowing. Well, she's been a world champion in coastal rowing as well. She's helped to guide our approach to coastal rowing in her role with the Rowing for All Commission since 2011, and she would, I suggest, be a perfect candidate to help guide the next steps of the discipline as chair of the new Coastal Rowing Commission. Gwyn has spent her life around water, and her understanding of the sea comes from working on offshore sailing boats in her 20s through to ocean rowing in her 40s. She has a deep knowledge of the sea, and if she could bring her innovation, her passion, and her leadership that she shows elsewhere to this role, I think it would be a really powerful combination. We're proposing her because she seems a perfect fit.
Thank you very much, Mark. We don't have any questions, so we can move to the vote.
Thank you. The question is the election of the chair of the Coastal Rowing Commission, candidate Gwyn Batten of Great Britain. Voting delegates, please now switch out of Zoom to Lumi, and Pete, please open the vote. Thank you.
Thank you. The vote is now open.
Five more seconds to complete the voting, please. Okay, please stop the vote, share the screen, Pete, and over to you, President, for the result.
Thank you. Total possible vote 116, abstention 0, valid vote cast 108, majority 55, yes 108, 100%. Congratulations, Gwyn. Gwyn Batten is elected chair of the Coastal Rowing Commission. Gwyn, if you want to say a few words.
No, she can't.
We have a technical problem, so I suggest we move with the next election related to the chair of the Gender Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Commission. We have received one submission from the Dutch Federation, and we will have now the presentation.
Dear delegates and rowing friends, I herewith like to nominate Jacomien Ravensberger as chair of the Gender Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Cross Commission. Jacomien, over the past couple of years, has done a great job as chair of the Women's Rowing Cross Commission and is now ready for the larger task, we think. So we hope for your support for Jacomien. Years of experience in rowing at the national level, a juror at the Beijing Olympics. We think she's now ready for this very important task. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There are no comments, so I suggest we move to the vote. Matt, please.
Thank you. The question is the chair of the Gender Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Cross Commission. The candidate is Jacomien Ravensbergen of the Netherlands. Voting delegates, please switch out of Zoom to Lumi and over to UP to open the vote.
Thank you very much, Matt. I can confirm the vote is now open.
Okay, 5 more seconds. Okay, please close the vote, share the screen and present the result.
Here are the result. Total possible votes 116, abstention 9, valid vote cast 99, majority 50, yes 95, no 4. So congratulations, Jacomien Ravensberger is elected chair of the Gender Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Commission. Congratulations, Jacomien. If you want to take the floor.
Thank you very much, JC, for the opportunity. And in particular, many thanks to all delegations of the member federations for the trust, and of course for my election as chair of this new commission, and therefore also again in the council. I have had the honor the past 5 years to chair the Women's Cross Commission, and I refer to the compliments that Kate McDonald gave to World Rowing for our leading position. And I want to thank all of us that championed and supported this the past few years, including the delegates who voted all those new rules. But it's time to move on, although we're not finished yet. And we move on to give all who want to participate on whatever level, in whatever role, for whatever background, beliefs and identity, to give them a fair chance and equal opportunities in our beautiful sport. And it's our belief that this is fundamental and provides a sustainable future for rowing. I want to thank the ones who already advised us in all the proposals that were approved by the council, in particular Claire Lamb from Rowing Ireland, and of course Matt Smith as a big champion of gender equality, diversity and inclusion. Thank you very much, Matt, and maybe there's a role for you in our new cross commission, we never know, but thank you for all the support and championing the last few years.
Thank you, Jacomien. Congratulations again. And now we will move to the next election that relates to the chair of the Indoor Rowing Commission. I would like first to thank very much Peter Cookson, who was chaired by interim this commission until the elections today. We have received one submission from the Serbian Federation, and we can now have the presentation.
Dear Congress members, as the President of Serbian Rowing Executive Board, I'm honored to present a candidacy of Filip Ljubicic as the Chair of the Indoor Rowing Commission. Filip believes that indoor rowing will hold an important growth opportunity for our sport and can attract the millions more people to enjoy the moment of rowing. Filip has been part of the Indoor Rowing Commission since his inception. His understanding of indoor rowing comes from multiple directions. One as a former athlete and coach, and another as an entrepreneur who built up apps used by millions of people across the world. This unique combination will give our sport an advantage as we grow this discipline for rowing. As an athlete, Filip represents Great Britain in the capital of Jeunesse, rowed for the University of London, and after injury he became coach. In 2013, Filip was elected to the British Rowing Council, where he served terms of 6 years. He is also involved in a number of organization committees for events. He has a deep understanding of technology, having been building apps and services. He built an education application used by millions of students before starting Ludum.com. There he built one of the first Bluetooth dongles and applications for the Concept 2. Since leaving Ludum, Filip has been building an all-digital health application to help patients to recover from injury. Filip provides the Indoor Rowing Commission with a unique combination of skills that will help the discipline grow over the next couple of years. His passion and motivation for indoor rowing and rowing is displayed by the commitment in multiple areas through the last 10 years and will continue for the year to come. For all these reasons, I am honored to support the nominate Filip and invite you to vote for him. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There are no questions, so we can proceed with the vote. Executive Director.
Thank you. The question is the Chair of the Indoor Rowing Commission. Candidate is Filip Ljubicic from Serbia. Voting delegates, please switch out of Zoom to Lumi, and Pete, please open the Lumi voting platform.
Thank you very much, Matt. I can confirm the vote is now open.
Okay, 5 more seconds, please. And now please close the vote and share the screen, and back to you, President.
Thank you. Can we have the results? Total possible votes 116, abstention 3, valid vote cast 105, majority 53, yes 105, 0 for no. Thank you. Welcome, Filip. Congratulations. The Congress has elected you as a Chair of the Indoor Rowing Commission.
Thank you, everyone, for voting for me. I'm truly honored to be given this opportunity for our new discipline of the sport. We are at an exciting time, as the President has said. We have new disciplines that will change our future and the future of the sport. And I look forward to working with many of you over the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now move to the next part, which relates to the Article 49 and the election of the 3 commission chair to the Executive Committee. This is based, as you know, on a council proposal, and it was presented at the consultation conference calls. So it's the presentation is on the screen in the following, in the alphabetical order of the National Olympic Committee code. So we have Patrick Rambaud for Belgium, Rosie McLaughlin. Patrick is the chair of the Empowering Commission, Rosie McLaughlin is the chair of the Competitive Commission, and Eva Santo is the chair of the Events Commission. It will be an individual vote for each of the candidates. And now for the vote number 1, I'm asking if there are questions. There are no, so we can proceed with the vote.
Thank you. The first vote now is the first of the 3 proposals, which is Patrick Rambaud of Belgium to the Executive Committee. Will you please go out of Zoom and Pete open the Lumi voting?
The vote is now open.
Five more seconds. Please close the vote, Pete. Thank you. And share the screen.
Okay, here are the results. Total possible vote 116, abstention 3, valid vote cast 108, majority 55. Yes, 102, 94.44%, and no, 5.56%. So Patrick Rambaud is elected as member of the Executive Committee. Congratulations, Patrick. Do you want to say a few words?
I would like to do it, but without screen, if you can hear me. Thank you for the confidence, dear delegates. It's now 30 years since I joined the Umpiring Commission in 1991. A lot has evolved. In 91, we had only 2 events on our world rowing calendar. I let you guess how many we have now. So ready to continue this fantastic journey with all of you. Thank you for the confidence.
Thank you, Patrick. Now moving to the vote number 2, over to the Executive Director.
The question before you is the second of the 3 members of the Executive Committee. The candidate is Rosie McLaughlin of Great Britain. Voting delegates, please go out of Zoom to Lumi, and Pete, open the Lumi voting.
Thank you, Matt. The vote is now open.
Five more seconds for voting. Okay, please close the vote, share the screen, and over to you, President.
Here are the results. Total possible vote 116, abstention 3, valid vote cast 98, majority 50. Yes, 92, 93.88%, no, 6.12%. So Rosie McLaughlin is elected member of the Executive Committee. Congratulations, Rosie. And the floor is yours if you want to say a few words.
Thank you very much indeed to all of you for your support. And I will look forward to continuing to work with the Executive and the Council, but more importantly with all of our federations to support you over the next 4 years. So thank you very much indeed.
Congratulations. We can now move to the third vote, the last one.
Okay, we have a raised hand from Carol in Canada.
Oh, thank you. We have a comment from Canada. So please, the floor is yours, Carol. Please go ahead, Carol. The floor is yours.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
I'm sorry for the delay. When I made the last vote, the actual question to vote on still said Patrick Rombo's name. It did not say Rosie's name. So it was an inaccurate vote in my view.
Let us check.
The voting screen itself said Patrick Rombo.
Matt, it's Pete here from Lumi. The member is quite right. It was a clerical error within my system to not have the correct name on the actual vote itself. Of course, the vote that was captured was, of course, in relation to the candidate. However, of course, I'll leave it up to you how you would like to determine what's next.
Well, to avoid any problem, I suggest that we declare this the vote void, and we will make another vote. I'm looking at some expert in law around me, and it seems that it's the best option. So let's consider that we will the previous vote as void, and we will redo it.
Okay, let's just say this very clearly. We will re-vote for the second candidate to be a member of the executive committee. That candidate is Rosie McLaughlin of Great Britain. Okay, voting delegates, please go out of Zoom. Let's see the voting screen again and start the vote for Rosie McLaughlin as member of the executive committee.
Matt, I can confirm that the vote is now open in respect to that particular vote.
Five more seconds. Okay, let's close the vote. Please share the screen, and back to you, President.
Thank you, Matt. So here are the results. Total possible votes, 116, abstention 3, valid vote cast 106, majority 54, yes 103, 97.17%, no 3, 2.83%. So Rosie McLaughlin is elected as member of the executive committee. Congratulations again, Rosie. I don't think you have to repeat. We have heard you, and I suggest that we can now move back to the third vote. Please, over to you, Matt.
Okay, as mentioned, now we are on the third member of the executive committee from the council, and that is Eva Santo of Hungary, the candidate. This will be a vote for the third member, Eva Santo. Please, voting delegates, leave the Zoom platform and go to Lumi. And Pete, please open the voting.
Thank you, Matt. I can confirm the vote is now open.
Five more seconds. Okay, please close the vote. Thank you very much. Share the screen, and over to you, President.
Here are the results. Total possible votes, 116, abstention 0, valid vote cast 107, majority 54, yes 107, 100%. Eva Santo is elected a member of the executive committee. Congratulations, Eva. And happy to hear if you have few words.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe. Dear delegates, thank you very much for your support. I'm really looking forward to continuing in the executive committee and working together with all the organizing committees and also with the member federations and bidders for the future events. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva, and congratulations again to all the of you who have been elected in the different positions. So with this 17th vote, we have now not only completed the elections, but also all the voting on the agenda for today's Congress. So thank you very much to all the delegates. We are now moving to the point 21. We don't have received any proposals, so let's move to item 22, and I will give the floor to Executive Director to cover a couple of points here. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you, President. We have in the agenda papers two topics presented back at the time when we issued the agenda papers. The first is the evolution of the 2024 Olympic qualification system. And we had originally issued a roadmap, a time frame leading to a decision in November. In the meantime, the IOC has issued the appropriate information requiring a decision by February. So we sent you a new roadmap on the 6th of October, showing where we are on the stage to development of this qualification system. We have received a number of proposals, ideas, comments from member federations. Thank you very much. They have all been sent to the Competitive Commission, which is digesting them and will be coming back. They are analyzing on the sport position, and these will then be matched up with an evaluation on, we'll say, non-sport, which is the broadcast, the racing program, and possibly the total world championship and continental qualification system implications. So we will be coming back to you with a number of proposals evaluated on sport and on non-sport to lead to a decision by the end of January. And we will come back to you with these proposals by email and possibly a Zoom to discuss and answer any questions. So there's no proposal in front of you today. It is in line with the new time frame which you see on the screen, and you were sent on the 6th of October. So thank you very much, and we're all looking forward to what the Competitive Commission will issue us shortly with some different proposals. The second is the issue of the voting rights determination for 2025 to 2028. As you recall, last year at this time, we had to adjust because of the cancellation of the 2020 season, and we had to revise the voting rights issue, which you see on the screen was done and was released to you, leading to the voting rights for this Congress and going forward till 24. At the same time, because of the COVID cancellation situation, we had discussed last year the new way to calculate the 25 to 28 voting rights and subscription fee levels. And as you know, we lost the World Championships in 2021, which is an important part of this whole calculation. So what we want to say is that we will be working on this over this year, hoping that the events go forward as scheduled. The council at their meeting in January and the governance working group will come up with a new proposal for the Congress in 2022 to make a decision about how this will be calculated starting from 25 to 28, 2025 to 2028. So that is the situation that we are in, and a new solution is needed for the 2022 Congress. Connected to that, of course, is the subscription fee situation, which is also a question of participation and is also disrupted with the cancellation of the 2021 World Championships. And we will come with a new proposal by time of the 22 Congress so that you can vote at that point for 2025 to 2028. I'd also like to remind ourselves of the open points from last year's Congresses. And here's on your screen a review of these open points. Due to the cancellations and disruption in 2020, and now 2021 World Championships. We had this text in the voting and in the minutes of the Extraordinary Congress, causing us to delegate the authority from the Extraordinary Congress of 2020 to 2022 to receive a proposal for the World Championship program. So we are on it. It was disrupted by the season, of course, but we'll be working on it over the season, hopefully having some National Federation meetings to have some ideas, but this will be addressed at the Congress in 2022. The lightweight issue, as you see on the screen, Rule 22, was withdrawn. The Sports Medicine Commission proposal was withdrawn, and it will be rediscussed at the 2022 Ordinary Congress after analysis from the season. There was some disruption, of course, in the 2021, so it will also be analyzed during 2022, leading to the Congress of 2022. The third point I wanted to remind everyone was the Council considered a proposal for a change in advertising, and it was decided to examine the whole question, not just one aspect, and come back with some ideas and proposals for the 2022 Congress with more data-driven analysis of advertising. Finally, on the new innovation rule, the Council withdrew the first three sentences, which the Dutch Federation rightly pointed out mainly applied to classic rowing, and it should include coastal rowing and indoor rowing and all forms of rowing. So we agreed to withdraw the first three sentences and allow for some more discussion, particularly hoping that we come back to physical presence at events and National Federation meetings. So these are still on our to-do list to come back to you with more. And we just wanted to remind you at this occasion of the Congress that we're on it and it hasn't been forgotten. Back to you, President.
Thank you very much, Matt, for this clarification and information. We have now reached the very last item on the agenda, A or B. Please stay with us. I'm conscious that we are running late, but we still have some points to cover, and back to Matt for some of them.
Thank you. We will cover a few points on the screen. The first is to remind you of the membership survey, which you received from me a little while ago, a couple of days ago, with a deadline of the 30th of November. You can be proud that the World Rowing Membership Survey is one of the most successful of all international federations. We had 90 member federations respond last time, and in my discussions with other international federation colleagues, they're very impressed at the results from World Rowing and getting membership surveys. But it's really important for us to better prepare the future by understanding where the member federations are at the present. So that's a reminder on that. Next is safeguarding, and we'll give the floor to Frida, I believe. Lenka, on safeguarding Lenka. Okay, sorry. Lenka, the stage is yours.
Can you hear me? Good. Okay, thank you. Dear Congress delegates, I would like to take the opportunity to give you a quick overview of our activities at the moment. We are very honored to have Sandy Kirby, a world-renowned researcher in the field of safeguarding, join our safeguarding working group. We started into this year with a series of webinars. I hope that some of you had the opportunity to join and attend these seminars. Following the success of these webinars, we're just about the next series, the launch of the next series, this time dedicated to athletes with a heavy involvement by the Athletes Commission. We would like you to help us advertising for those by circulating the announcement for the webinars, which I believe you have received with the last circular. We see the need to create more specific regional webinars, ideally in the local language. This is at the moment being developed with the help of the continental representatives. So there is another one coming. In 2021, we again managed to have an event safeguarding officer at all events. We believe this person is a very valuable asset in our fight against harassment and abuse. I would like to draw your attention to the next edition of the Member Federation survey. We would very much like you get your feedback and establish a safeguarding contact to every member federation. So far, some of you have replied. Thank you for that. And I'm sure the others have the survey on top of their to-do file. We're really looking forward to your answers. For quicker access, we will add the quick link to the online form in our chat. So you can just click on that. Reports are continued to be handled by the safeguarding lead for World Rowing. If you have any questions or anything, please use the displayed safeguarding email. So that's it for about our activities this year. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenka. This information will also be included in the circular which follows the Congress. Lenka, we're really proud to have Lenka on board as a model and a member of the IOC Medical Commission. So any questions, you can get in contact with the safeguarding@worldrowing.com on the screen. We'll next move to the Athletes Commission. If you recall, in 2020, we all approved a new process to elect certain members of the Athletes Commission. And as you may recall, it's quite an elaborate process, but we'll give the floor now to Frida to walk us through this slide. Over to you, Frida. Frida Swenson, the chair of the Athletes Commission and member of the Executive Committee. Frida.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Thank you, dear delegates. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I know you might be tired at this time, so I won't take up too much of your time. As you can see on the screen, you have a short introduction and summary regarding the athletes election process. I would also like to start with taking the opportunity and once again say thank you on behalf of the Athletes Commission and the athlete community for including the Athletes Commission chair on the executive board. I can assure you that it's been a pleasure, honor, but also a huge challenge to be part of the executive board these last 18 months. But I've learned a lot personally, and I have made sure that we have been athlete centralized in all the decision making. So it's been a true honor to have a position for the Athletes Commission on the executive board. We have set up a working group. At this point, it's a small working group. It's Lucy from World Rowing, it's Lenka, myself, with assistance from the IOC, Arthur Milroy, working with the Athletes 365. As you can see on the slide in front of you on your screen, there will be an election at the World Championship in Racice, where we will have 4 positions available for election. 1 will be reserved for the para community. And then there will be an election at the Coastal Championship Speed Sprint Finals, where we will have 1 position for the coastal community. I will be at your disposal at any time, of course. You can either call me or contact me on emails. Please don't hesitate if you have any questions. If you have any questions right now, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we can take them outside of this meeting, so I won't keep too much of your time. Thank you very much, Matt. And I will also like to take the opportunity to once again, on behalf of the Athletes Commission and the Athletes community, to say thank you to you, Matt. You've been an amazing spokesperson for the athletes community and always make sure that we have an athlete centralized decision making at all levels. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Frida. Very kind words. Just to keep moving, if we can take questions offline, it'd be great because our Asian and Eastern friends are getting quite tired. A few words now on upcoming events and conferences. The award ceremony, the World Rowing Award ceremony this year will be virtual, and it will take place on Saturday, the 29th of January, 2022 at 12 noon CET. These are the Athletes of the Year, Coach Distinguished Service, etc., Thomas Keller Medal, and Sustainability, and many others. You can find them on the website, and the nominations close on the 8th of November. So on Monday, we need your nominations in if you haven't already done it. Then we'll go through our process and leading to the award ceremony on the 29th of January. I can also report to you that the 2021 World Rowing Coaches Conference will take place at the end of January 22. As usual in the Olympic year, we delay it to allow the resorting of coaching and high performance directors to take place and be completed. It will start on the 29th of January, actually 1 hour after the start of the awards ceremony, and it will be a series of presentations with some virtual live sessions, and you will get more information shortly from us about that in the next circular. And as I said, the next most important upcoming event is the World Rowing Indoor Championships on the 25th and 26th of February from Hamburg. Please keep your eyes open for that. The qualification is taking place now. It will be hybrid, physical, and virtual. That completes my other business. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you very much, Matt, for all this information. I have also a couple of points to cover now, so please stay with us. First of all, it's about the council. Two of our council members will leave their position at the end of this year because of the eligibility rules, Lee Spear and Richard Stagnut. Lee has been our continental representative for Oceania since 2014, very active in the continent. He's currently the president of ORCON, the Confederation of Rowing in the region. International Empire, Lee has contributed to the development of the sport in this immense region, made mainly of ocean and water and many islands. Lee is a judge by profession. He has very much contributed to the rules working group and has kindly agreed to continue to do so for the next cycle in that role. So next, Richard has been in rowing for decades. After a successful athlete's career, has pursued his dedication in rowing as a volunteer. He has just stepped down as president of the Polish Rowing Federation after many years, 25, I think, and has been a leading member of the Polish National Olympic Committee. He's been the chair of the European Rowing Board since 2008 and the continental representative for Europe since 2013. Very much appreciated by all for his friendship and constructive approach to deal with challenges. So Lee, Richard, huge thank you to both of you. On behalf of all of us, thank you for your invaluable contribution to our sport and to our organization. We will miss you in the council, but welcome to the Silver Foxes group.
President, I understand that. Also.
So if Richard is connected, maybe Richard, you want to say a few words?
Thank you very
we
much
have technical
for
issues.
all years of excellent cooperation. Of course, I am leaving, but I will be around. It's not so easy to stop immediately. It was very, very beautiful part of my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, indeed, Richard. It's my pleasure now to introduce you to Vincent Gaillard, our newly appointed Executive Director, starting on, as I mentioned earlier, on Jan 1st, 2022. Vincent is with us today. So up to very recently, he was the CEO of EPCR, the European Professional Club Rugby. And prior to that, he was the Director General of GAIFS, the Global Association of International Sports Federations, known at the time under the name of Sport Accord. Beyond this substantial sport federations experiences in non-for-profit sports organization, Vincent had also experienced the private sector for NBA Europe and then for the Coca-Cola Company as Director of Planning and Operations and Deputy General Olympics and Paralympics, notably for Beijing and London Olympic Games. We strongly believe that the background and the experience of Vincent will be of great benefit to our organization. As a matter of fact, and Matt can certainly give evidences that the roles and responsibility of the executive director has dramatically evolved over the years and now covers mainly administration, management, governance. It's about law, sport law, marketing, digital, just to name a few. So we believe that the council and the staff will support Vincent in the pure technical rowing elements. And we believe that indeed we have this some expertise in-house on that subject. Again, Vincent, a warm welcome to you on behalf of the council, and if the delegates allow me, on behalf of the Congress, welcome to you. We are looking forward to supporting you in the mission, especially in the first learning phase. If you want to express a few words, the floor is yours, Vincent. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President, and congratulations for what already appears to have been a highly successful 2021 Congress. Warm greetings to you all. First and foremost, let me say how honored and privileged I am with the opportunity you are giving me to be supporting you all and the sport of rowing in the years to come. I certainly appreciate and value the trust you are placing in me as a non-rower to lead our executive team, to support the council, the commissions, and indeed all of you in the future. Ultimately, entrusting me to lead our executive team and supporting the council in embracing whatever opportunity and face whatever challenge come our way in coming years. There are many in each category, but amongst the many challenges, it feels appropriate given the ongoing COP26 and the marches happening all around the world today for me to reemphasize climate change, as our president did in his earlier report, and our very own responsibility towards the matter. I know there are high expectations of me, not just in ensuring a productive and positive transition following Matt's highly successful tenure, but also in helping take the organization into a better place, including financially, following what will have been a very challenging period for all in sport and for us in rowing. I must say, however, that for however challenging the last 2 years have been for you all, I found particularly impressive how well the situation appears to have been managed at World Rowing. So a massive credit to the work done by the council, the EXCO, by Matt, by the executive team, and indeed all of you. More generally, beyond the management of COVID, the quality of the organization, of its governance, of the executive team transpires through everything you do and through the reputation that the organization has established in the marketplace. Today's highly positive and uncontroversial election results represent another great testimony of the quality of our organization's governance. The reputation of and the outstanding work done by World Rowing are why I decided to join you all. So a highly positive situation that is undoubtedly a credit to you all, and which of course will make my own work easier as I slip into the role in January. I'm naturally very grateful for that. Be sure that I come into the role with much humility, with a desire to engage, to learn from and build a constructive relationship with you all. Of course, I also come with an intention to manage and take action wherever will be required, with the support of you all, of our president, executive committee, and council. So thank you for entrusting me with such an important role at such an important time. I pledge to do my very best to be up to the challenge at hand, and to fill the big shoes that Matt will be leaving behind him. I'm looking forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vincent, for your words. My intention is not to to raise the pressure on your shoulders, but we have reached a key moment in the life of our organization, a moment that doesn't happen very often. The good news is that Matt is not leaving us. He will continue to contribute to rowing and to help us at World Rowing on different projects in a different way, and for the short term to ensure an optimal transfer of knowledge and an efficient transition with you, Vincent. You have referred to Matt and you mentioned the big shoes to fill in. Well, certainly. We all know in the rowing community and much beyond, actually, how much Matt has brought to FISA, to our sport, to World Rowing, with his great professionalism and a tremendous commitment. He has reached certainly an unrivaled level of experience and expertise that actually goes beyond the sport of rowing. Let me take the opportunity, as it is his very last Congress, to express our sincere gratitude and huge thanks to Matt. Let me say a few words. He has spent almost all his professional career in rowing. Maybe I might be wrong in some of the aspects. Just shout if it's not correct. But escaping first the familial tradition of milkmen, and escaping then the business and finance sector that his MBA would have destined him to. Passionate rower, he decided to join the sport for his professional activities. And for that, he chose at the time one of the best places in Pidiluco, Italy, with a man who has had also a small career in our sport, Tor Nielsen. He started with FISA as development director, and moving to the executive director role in 1995. Yes, it was 26 years ago. For the few of you will remember, but the World Championship were held in Tampere in Finland that year. He has grown the organization and our sport alongside with President Dennis Oswald. They have formed, I can say, a great duo, very respectful, tremendously committed to make the most of the sport of rowing and for FISA. It will be too long to mention here all the achievement they have reached. As far as I am concerned, I would like to express my personal sincere gratitude to Matt, my huge thanks. He has been a great journey with you as executive director. I was quite young when elected as president. And I must admit that you have made everything possible to make my learning phase as easy as possible. So I have hugely appreciated your very loyal and true and respectful relationship. I can say that I've been able to count on you every time. Together with the executive committee, the council and the staff, we have faced a quite significant number of challenges and crises, and always the interest of the sport and the athletes have been in front line as the very first principles. Matt has been working with many people, staff, volunteers, and in FISA and also in other sport organizations, contributing to many projects and works with ASOIF, IPC, just to name a few. Always very much appreciated and respected. Some of them have sent a message, and we have a video with this message. Matt, this is for you.
Dear Matt, as you will be reaching soon a key milestone in your professional life, it is my privilege and great pleasure to present you a collection of messages from people you have been working with all over the years.
Dear Matt, thank you very much, Matt, for the huge contribution to the World Rowing, for the development of the Youth Commission.
Thank you so much for all you've done for rowing globally.
I thank you for your commitment to the medal, for being a key person in shaping it in today's content and its way of presentation.
You've always been passionate about making things better, growing our sport, improving our events. You've always listened and try to have in whatever role I have turned to me. It's been the greatest pleasure to work with you.
I so admire all that you've done for our great sport and your dedication to making it better for athletes. We're going to miss you big time.
Dear Matt, I first met you in Piediruco. Your love for rowing and water sport is a very, very important mindset. I believe that your achievement and contribution are eternal.
We've been truly a team, a pair, double sculls, whatever you want, but always rowing in one direction, the interest of our sport, the interest of our athletes.
On behalf of World Rowing Athletes Commission and all rowers around the world, a big thank you for all the hard work you've done for us athletes, for always putting the athlete in the center of decision making.
As a rowing community, we've been incredibly lucky to have had you at the helm of the organization for such a long time. I still remember well our first interactions to deal with the challenges around the 2014 Worlds and how impressed I was with how you were balancing all stakeholder interests. And in the 8 years that followed, that respect has only grown. I think you can be very proud of what you're leaving behind.
But the legacy you've left is going to go on.
I can't believe it's 30 years I saw you for the first time. You were for me as a symbol of rowing, and you made so much for our community. Let me thank you very much for everything also that you made.
And great success as one of the world's best sports executive directors that you could hope to have.
My message is to thank you for your contribution over 25 years or so to FISA as an exceptional CEO, Secretary General.
You're becoming a legend of rowing.
Thank you for being with me and guiding me, and I wish you the very best for the next years.
Congratulations for an incredible 25 years as the Executive Director at FISA and World Rowing.
Congratulations from us all down here in the rowing world for your excellent stewardship of World Rowing over the years.
I've had the great privilege to know you and to work with you. I have very much appreciated your great professionalism, your exceptional expertise and experience. But as importantly, or I should say more importantly, I have very much appreciated the true, loyal and respectful relationships we've had all over my mandates as president.
Thank you for your fantastic work at World Rowing. I learned a lot from you over the years I had the privilege to work with you.
After more than 30 years in World Rowing, it's sad to see you leaving. Thank you so much for all the great and fantastic work you have done for our sport.
How the rowing world has changed during this period. A vast number of new events, fantastic new standards, and a highly professional organisation in which you, Matt, played a crucial role.
Always putting the athletes first.
I wish you a long and wonderful retirement, although I'm confident you'll be a permanent part of the world rowing community where you have so many friends and have earned such great respect.
I want to thank you for your enormous contribution to world rowing in every aspect, which has left an indelible mark.
I wanted to say thank you on behalf of FISA, World Rowing now, mais surtout, tout bon pour cette nouvelle page.
The end of a long period of fantastic teamwork with you as Executive Director. I would like to thank you on behalf of all the umpires.
And on to manage our sport so successfully for many years. Now you go into retirement and perhaps a return to your roots.
You have done amazing things for our sport, and just want to say a big thank you, wishing you all the best in the future.
Thank you, Matt, for your huge work, and personally for always making yourself available to listen, to support, and to provide very positive advice.
In those 35 years at US Rowing, at FISA, you've been providing such inspired leadership and guiding our sport through some very difficult times of change. It's hard for me to believe that you're retiring because I know you're such a young man. I say that since we both know we're the same age.
Your knowledge of world rowing is unsurpassed. You served many men, but you championed the women.
You left the place better than you found it. You have always led with integrity, with care for the athletes, with compassion.
But I'd like to thank you very much for your warmth, your steadfastness, your principles, and in particular your leadership of the organisation over the last 25 years.
Hi Matt, I just want to say thank you for everything. You've just been amazing, so professional, such a good colleague. Best of luck.
I would like to express my huge appreciation to all what have you done to our sport. Thank you very much for many years of excellent cooperation. Thank you for your friendship. I wish you all the best in new chapter of your life. We will miss you.
Under your steadfast leadership, world rowing can look back at a period of great progress, bringing the joy of rowing to so many people, and always putting the athletes first. Today, I simply want to say thank you.
Thank you.
So instead of farewell, I will say au revoir and all the best in this, your next step in your life. Take good care of yourself and all good wishes.
So just to clarify, I always said that Matt is not leaving. He has still some work to do. But before I give you the floor, Matt, I would like to give the floor to the honorary president, who has been president for a long period of time with you, and I would like him to say a few words. Dennis, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's not without emotion that I see Matt putting an end to his fantastic journey with rowing and for rowing. He has accompanied me for nearly all my 25 years as president, and I can say that without him, I would never have been to achieve so many of the target of the goals I'd put for our organization. Sorry for the technicalities. Yes, Matt has been very supportive, very dedicated, very competent. And as Jean-Christophe said, he has been always very loyal to me and very loyal to rowing and to FISA. And this is essential in the relation President, Secretary General, President, Executive Director. We have worked as a team, this was mentioned as well, and a pair, double scull, whatever you want. But we have been always rowing in the same direction toward the same goal of the interest of our sport and the interest of our athletes. And therefore, we very rarely had differences of opinion. I'm prepared to say never, at least, serious differences of opinion because of our common philosophy of the interest of the sport and of the athletes. Matt has really been a pillar for our sport, and we would never be where we are today without him, without his great contribution over the years. And I can say that all athletes in the world should pay tribute for him and are grateful for what he brought to our sport and, of course, to them, to the athletes. Personally, I would like also to express my gratitude for his great friendship and his fantastic support over so many years, and wish him a great retirement with his family.
Thank you, Denis. Matt, do you want to say a few words? Or
that is a big surprise, everyone. So I had no idea that was coming, and naughty staff members, and thank you very much. Very moving. I hope I was seen as trying to listen, trying to balance the stakeholders always, and keeping the sport at first and the rowers at first. As a rower, I was usually in the engine room, and I felt like that was my duty here, to be behind the scenes in the engine room. And I am not retiring. I am stepping down and stepping back because I want to give the total support to JC and Vincent to have a very, very smooth next step. So don't send me retirement notes. I'll be stepping behind the curtains to give my support and continuing to support, but also hopefully taking on some other projects. I didn't believe I would be the rowing guy for my whole career. So I have some other ideas in mind of what to do with my time while I'm still young and healthy, as Ron said. So thank you very much, everyone. Very moving videos and words. And I will stop there because we're out of time. So thank you, everyone, and back to you, JC.
Thank you, Matt, and looking forward to continuing some work together. Now we are the delegates. We have reached the end of the Congress. I would like to thank you for your cooperation and your cooperation as we are running slightly beyond the schedule. I think that we have run this Congress without too many technical issues. I would like of course, to thank all the people who are behind the scene to have made this Congress on the technical aspect a success. It has nothing to do with luck, but it's a result of a thorough and intense preparation, I can tell you. I would like to thank very much and express gratitude to Matt, the Executive Director, of course, and his team, and in particular, Lucie Trochet, Ludovica Caprino, Brian Orsini, and Pratik Gramba for the excellent preparation of the Congress. Thank you to the member of the staff who are behind for the technical support today, Paolo, Daniela. There has been, again, a huge work behind the scene to ensure a smooth Congress. Thank you to Pete and Lumi when it comes to the voting platform. And I would like also to thank our interpreters today. Merci Marie-Odile, merci Agnès. I think I've covered all the points for now, and starting from east to west, good night, good afternoon, and enjoy the rest of the day for the one who are in the morning. I declare the 2021 Ordinary Congress by video conference closed.